Welcome back. Today we're going to learn how to add and subtract decimals. Now to start off, to remember, the first thing we must do when we are adding and subtracting decimals is line up the decimals. In this form here, it is hard to line up the decimals, so I'm going to stack one over the other. So we're going to look at 3.6 and we're going to add 1.5. Now the key thing is the decimals, once again, must be lined up. Okay? So now that my decimals are lined up, I'm just going to continue adding like I would normally. So right here we're going to have 6 plus 5 is 11. Carry the 1. 3 plus 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. And we're going to put our decimal right where my answer should be. Let's take a look at the second one. Once again, we want to line up the decimals first. So we have 1.3. And then we have 0 point, so 0 decimal, decimals lined up, 0.7. And we're adding these together. They are both positive. So there's an imaginary 0 here. So I'm going to have 0 plus 7 is 7, 3 plus 0 is 3, 1 plus 0 is 1. And my decimals follow down right where they should be. Let's take a look at my third example. This one's going to be a subtraction. I have 2.3 subtract 0 or 1.05. Same idea here is we must line up my decimals. So we have 2.3. And we want to subtract 1.05. Now the problem with this one here is there's no number above the 5, so we're just going to put a 0 there. Okay, because 2.30 is the same as 2.3. Now, I could borrow from here and make that a 10, so this becomes a 2. So we go 10 subtract 5 is 5. Now we have 2 subtract 0 is 2. Put in my decimal. Decimals, remember, always must line up. Then we're going to go 2 subtract 1 is going to be 1. So my answer for this one is 1.25. Alright. Now let's look at number 4. For this one here, we have negative 1.26, and we're going to add 0.8. Now we have a negative and a positive here, so they're opposites, so they're going to be, it's kind of like subtracting. And I know my negative is bigger than my positive, so I'm going to make this a negative. And we're going to put my decimal where my decimal goes. So first we're going to go, what's 6 subtract 0? There's an imaginary 0 here. We're going to end up getting 6. 2 subtract 8, I can't do that, so I must borrow from the 1. 12 subtract 8 is 4. 0 subtract 0 is 0. So my answer is negative 0.46. So if we go over this again, the key thing for adding and subtracting decimals is we must always first line up the decimal. After we line up the decimals, we just add and subtract the same way we did before, and we put our decimal in our solution always under the decimals in our question.